Yes, boys, I'm Nini FC, this is Blue 9 CV, and welcome to the match review of our 2-1 defeat against Liverpool. Now, after the game, it's quite hard to know how to feel as a fan. You know, as is typical with our games, there tend to be negatives that distract from the positives, even though those positives are still good. Now, this does give me hope for the future, knowing that when key players return, once other players get fully match fit, I really see us improving as a team a lot. However, the negatives that we seem to not be able to eradicate from our game keep affecting us, and this is the major reason why Lampard still doesn't have his first 3 points at Stamford Bridge. In today's match review, I'm going to be talking about key moments, players. I won't be doing tactics today. I'm going to be focusing on tactics in tomorrow's 5 talking points video instead. And that's because there are so many talking points and observations to make in today's game. However, before I get into that, quick plug out the way, download the OneFootball app. You guys will find it in the link in the description below. It's fast, it's quick, it's easy. And I'm telling you, you'll end up regularly using the app every time there's a match day. If you guys want to download the OneFootball app, you'll find it in the link in the description below. And on that note, you guys, we move. Starting with the lineup, and that was the most surprising thing today. Not only did we see Kante returning to the team, but we also saw Mason Mount playing as well. And when I was doing my live stream before the game, I mentioned the fact that maybe Lampard's been bluffing all along. Maybe Lampard knew that these guys were always fully fit, and maybe he kept it a secret from us and the media to really give something for Liverpool to think about. Now, I'm still not too sure if it was really a bluff, or maybe Lampard had to take the risk knowing that using a back three system may not have worked. I'm still not too sure. As we're seeing with Frank Lampard at the moment, he is taking a lot of risks. And you know what? Over time and with hindsight, you may think, okay, a lot of the risks that Lampard took, really paid off for us. But right now, we don't know what's happening at the moment, so we can only make observations on what we're currently seeing. And a part of me feels, was it worth risking using guys like Mason, for example, and Kante in the team? As we saw, Emerson played, and Emerson went off very early, very, very early, and you're just hoping that he's not going to be out for too long. It's not the first time we've seen, players returning back a bit too quickly from injury. I get at the moment the squad is quite thin. Lampard does need certain players to play because otherwise it is going to affect the quality of how we play our game. So it's a real hard situation Lampard's in right now. As time develops this month, it's going to get a lot easier for him once guys like Callum and Reece return. But because these players were introduced to the first team today, it meant that we used a 4-3-3 system, the same tactical setup and approach that we used against Liverpool, during that game in the Super Cup. So I did feel a bit confident, and we could really see that confidence in the players from the minute we started the game. We were comfortable keeping the ball, we were comfortable playing under pressure, we looked to affect Liverpool down the flanks just as we did in that first game in the Super Cup. And when Liverpool got that first goal, it really was a bit surprising. Now, this is what I mean by details, and Jorginho and Cover, they don't have those defensive instincts. I'm still surprised that they both got caught flat-footed like that, allowing a free one by Fabinho to drive through them. Now, if that lane was closed off, which it should have been, Fabinho is forced to either play the ball backwards or play it out wide, and that free kick never comes. Now, Christensen, of course, impulsive, and listen, we've seen Zuma do something similar, in that game against Man United. When your midfield players make an uncharacteristic mistake, that puts you under pressure because then you have to react in the moment. And this is where defenders are more prone to making mistakes and giving the ball away. Christensen gave the foul away, and then it was a great free kick by TAA. And when I was watching it in real time, I just sensed and knew that this was definitely going to go in the back of the net. And that's because it was a set piece. And I know that whenever the word set piece is involved with us, it means we're conceding a goal. And lo and behold, the second goal that goes in is another set piece goal scored by Liverpool. Bobby Firmino obviously heading it in, and again, question marks on our zonal style of defending. Now, as I keep stressing, the main reason why we use zonal defending is because, man to man, we're not the most physically strongest team. So this means that I guess Lampard wants key zones and areas defended in our box, when defending against set pieces, knowing that obviously if you use smaller guys to do a man marking job, they're going to lose their 50-50 battle. What needs to happen is that these players get much better in their understanding, and I'm hoping that a lot of practice is done in training sessions, because at this rate, we keep costing ourselves by giving away these sloppy, easy set piece goals. Luck really wasn't with us in that first half. We thought that Aspie had scored the equaliser really early on. However, the VAR curse struck again after all that celebrating, after seeing that funny tapping going as well. It all came to nothing, you guys. With VAR, this level of accuracy is going to take us fans a long time to get used to. Is it being used in the right manner? There needs to be margins of errors to use, and when I'm seeing sport decisions coming down to like a guy's hair being offside, or let's say for example Mason's foot being offside, and it's like, was he even going to use that foot in the first place? Are they really big enough reasons to halt play and call it an offside? I'm not too sure, you guys. It seems like a bit of leniency has to be created. I mean, with football, it's all based on reactions and mistakes, etc, etc. So, we have to accept that side of the game. Now, I need to talk about this guy for a bit. Fikayako Tomori. Now, Tomori, I thought maybe in the first half, maybe the first 30 minutes, he looked a tiny bit shaky. I thought the manner in which he picked up his yellow card was really unnecessary. He didn't have to make that tackle in the first place. And I thought maybe he was a bit reckless too in the incident that led to Christensen going off. But again, as I keep stressing, you guys, with these players this season, we need to remain patient. They're young and they're learning every time. What a top quality second half. His passes were great. He kept Salah so quiet, he couldn't cope. His pace, everything went into overdrive. He really stood out and impressed. Alongside Kurt Zouma as well. I thought these two looked really good playing together. And with two defenders like this, you can play a high line. And it's what I always say, you guys. The reason why we concede goals is nothing to do with our centre backs. It's always to do with how the team defends as a whole. In the first half, Liverpool were looking dangerous. They were targeting the flanks, making runs in behind, using their midfield players to, drag runners in fields to free up their wide men, out wide of course. And we saw this particularly down the left hand side, where Marcos Alonso was not really fast enough to get back in position again, and that's always a worry whenever you're using Marcos Alonso playing as a left back. Anyway, in the first half there weren't too many positives. Tammy Abraham with an amazing opportunity to equalise and get us back in the game. You know what? It was unfortunate. Very unfortunate. I thought Tammy looked threatening, and I find that promising, I like that Tammy, he doesn't shy away, he doesn't get scared. He looks to take responsibility, he finds positions. Even if he does miss, he's going to keep still making those same runs. And again, he was unfortunate. His timing of the run then was amazing, and maybe he had just a bit too much time. For me personally, he should have played the safe option and squared the pass to Mason Mount. If you felt like you weren't as confident, especially when the angle wasn't too big, square it to Mason Mount. Of course, Mason Mount timed his run exactly the same as Tammy, and Mason was rightfully angry with Tammy Abraham. Now we move into the second half, and this was by far our best period during the game. And there was a particular moment in the second half which really galvanised us, and for me that was the N'Golo Kante masterclass goal. That was pretty funny. With Kante, especially in the first half, he was making a lot of runs inside the box, and we've seen how Kante's been playing last season. We know he can do that now. And I just thought that a lot of players just weren't looking to find his runs, and I was a bit surprised by that. It seemed like in the second half, with Kante maybe dropping a bit deeper to influence the play a bit more, he was commanding the ball a lot more. We saw a lot more of him, and I thought he was looking very good. And this is what I mean, you guys. Kante has improved as a player. Look at how he plays offensively. Look at his play between the lines. He never gives the ball away. He always knows what he's going to do with the ball before he receives it. He keeps it moving. He can do those rotational plays as well. The guy can do everything. But my God, I was not expecting such a genius goal. Now, of course, we've all seen that little Kante body shimmy that he does all the time. This is what I mean by developing players. Now Kante has the confidence to express himself offensively. And my God, did he express himself against Liverpool with that goal. He drove through them, taking man out. And that finish at the end, that composed finish, it was the right technique as well. to put it in the far corner, and that's what we needed to get ourselves back in the game. And from that point on, it really was all us, and you're just thinking, if Lampard wasn't forced to make 2 subs because of injuries, who knows how things would have fared in the second half. And you know what, it's details like this that can affect things. Now, did Lampard make the right substitutions? And this might fall in line with, is Lampard being a bit too risky? And you know, I say this because in our defeat to Valencia, and for me, after watching the game again, there's no way in hell we should have lost that game. And if anything, the bare minimum is you need to get 1 point. It was a game we weren't supposed to lose. And in moments like this, maybe Lampard has to be a bit pragmatic, just slightly, you know? So far with Frank, it's looking like he is willing to risk it all the time. And is there an argument that maybe Frank was risking it by using Mason Mount over Christian Pulisic? Now, Christian Pulisic is someone that's been spoken a lot in the fan base. A lot of people are baffled and confused as to why he isn't playing. You know, Willian's not good, Pedro's not good, these guys aren't good. Why are they playing over Pulisic? The reality that you need to accept is Pulisic just hasn't been playing well. I mean, that's it. That is it. Look at how he plays the game. You know, when we watch games, we need to be objective. You know, we can't let personal bias keep clouding our thoughts and opinions every single time. You know, Pulisic hasn't adapted as well to the league just yet. You know, he's constantly losing the ball. He's running into dead ends. He's not really linking up as effectively as well. And his defensive work rate just isn't there. You know, of course, today he may have played if Lampard hasn't been forced to make injury substitutions. I personally feel that we could have seen him play. So Mason Mount did have to play, but again, there is another question. Should Mason Mount have completed that 90 minutes, and should Pulisic have come on instead for him, instead of Tammy going off for Mitchie? The argument could be that with Mitchie, you know, Lampard wants to keep the same setup and structure. I mean, with Mason Mount, he was quiet today, but I'm going to tell you guys this. When you watch a football game, don't always look at where the ball is, you know? Look at what happens off the ball, because that really paints a picture for how the game is. And throughout the game today, we saw that Aspie and Marcos Alonso were constantly 3 men out wide, having time to play whatever cross they wanted to, time and time again. Now, there's a reason why, for example, Marcos Alonso was able to get on the ball as much as he did, and he was able to put in as many crosses as he did, and that's because Mason Mount took Trevor Arnold out the game. He took him out of the game completely by smart positioning in between the lines there, by his smart positioning just in behind him. That meant that Arnold constantly had to watch out for Mason Mount who was in behind, meaning that he couldn't close down Marcos Alonso. And for me, this is where I see the positives, because as we played the game in the second half, I looked at the team structure, I looked at how we moved the ball, the speed, the purpose. I saw a lot of good performances as well. And it just told me, wow, when the better players return to the team, and once guys like N'Golo are fully fit and not half fit, we really look like a good team. It seems like the players know where they need to be, they know what they need to do. I think our issue seems to come down with maybe individual quality from the guys playing in the team currently. And on that note, you guys, I think it's time to wrap up the match review. To give my brief conclusions, again, we lost the game, but still many positive talking points. You'll hear a lot of them in tomorrow's 5 talking points video. What I like about how we play is that we never look like we're getting outplayed. You know, against a team like Liverpool, we constantly had them under a lot of pressure, and it's no surprise why Jurgen Klopp rightfully respects our team. We can see the potential, and I want to end it on this point, you guys. Remember, the whole plan with what the project is for this season is to see which academy guys are ready to stop us from spending another 50-60 million on players in their position. That is the main aim. When the summer comes, we are going to have money to spend. And you need to ask yourself this. So far this season, we haven't lost games because of any of our academy players. They haven't been at fault for anything. Once those guys are supplemented with better quality around them, then you'll really see what our future is going to look like. But on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Line CV. See you guys later.